Right. Hello. Good evening. It is High Priestess Jamila. How y'all doing today? I wanted to come and talk about a few things before I upload. I am gonna upload the readings that I did for Pluto Retrograde. They are currently posted on TikTok, actually. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all of those videos and put them in one video, timestamp them, and just upload them to this channel as well as the Witch's Broom channel, depending on which channel you're watching. Okay. Because I guess some people prefer this channel and then other people prefer the other channel. So I wanted to come and speak about what I am noticing and what I've been noticing in particular, big time the past 4 years. And I think it really depends on what's happening in the world. But as far as how these particular retrogrades are going to affect the people around us, the world, and how you allow those other things to affect you, right? How do you allow people, entities, energies outside of yourself to affect you? Why are they affecting you in that way? Finding out, I think that typically, you know, it would be really good if everybody would do shadow work. Shadow work requires a great deal of self analysis. Shadow work requires a great deal of inner exploration. Okay. Um, Meaning that it's not about what somebody else did. Okay, this is where, okay, all of us have experienced indignities at some point. um and we're going to talk about dignity in a few here, but all of us have experienced that at some point, and some to some people have experienced it worse than others, as far as indignities. Um and what it really takes to really get what you want in life and to manifest. So I think that during this time, it's important to do that. Now, this year is hitting different, mainly because of that solar eclipse. The solar eclipse definitely did intensify Mercury retrograde. And I believe that for at least the next couple of years, everything is going to be more intensified. I think that there's levels to it. And from what I can see, ever since the eclipse, there's various levels of depravity that I'm seeing. I feel like the energies of Pluto, and especially Pluto being in retrograde, I feel like the effects that it's having on some people, it's almost like the end of the world. Pluto is connected to these extreme, very intense energies of change. And your ability of change is going to vary depending on many, many factors, right? Your emotional health, mental health, physical health. So that's why I wanted to put those readings up. I didn't see it as that bad. I did see some pretty dire things. I think that if you woke up this morning alive, and you didn't like get axed to death by some person who completely and totally went postal, I personally feel that when the sun came up, it was an opportunity for you. So, unless you were victim to um, extreme acts of depravity, then you have a chance, right? Because people are, and I've witnessed people being very depraved. To me, this Pluto retrograde has been more of a intensified Mercury retrograde, you know, and so so let's segue into dignity. I was sitting here doing deep meditation with Santa Martha, um, because she came to me with not just a money oil recipe, but then also a healing oil. So it'll be healing and money. And that will get made at some point, completed between today and this weekend. Okay, so we're kind of extending the work with Santa Martha. I thought that it would just be from the 6th through the 9th, but it's actually going to extend out to the 12th, which I believe the 12th is Monday of next week. I believe. Don't quote me on that. Um, which led me to some information that I found. And a lot of this information, this knowledge, this wisdom is going to be used for the energies of this particular thing that we're working on with Santa Martha. Okay, not just the money oil, but other things. And so she was talking to me about dignity. And then, especially, that's what a lot of people are complaining about, especially being in the South. A lot of people feeling as though their dignities are being taken away from them. They feel as though, they're being denied their human rights, which I believe these days your human rights lie within you. Okay. So she led me to uh the model, the four kinds of dignity, and somehow she related this to money, which I understand. And this is useful energy and information, whether or not you are an entrepreneur, a business owner. um honestly, do I believe that a person that lacks dignity can just sit behind a computer and collect millions of dollars? Very rarely. Very rarely, because your energy and your essence doesn't consist of that. So 9 times out of 10, it's going to have to be some kind of contact. Everybody wants passive income, right? Which is understandable. So this is where you kind of have like this money machine where, you present a product, and, it may be glittery and pretty, but, I think that for the most part of us, um, some level of dignity is required. Okay. And that's even what we are looking for. And then also when you are, it depends on your path as well. When you are on a certain path, for like example, the path that I am on, with as far as assisting people spiritually, the one thing that I guess their competitors, or people have tried to do, is sort of take away my dignities, and try to destroy my dignities, which I believe is a part of the foundation of a person, of self, especially when you're out here in social media. And I believe that this is why Santa Martha was talking to me about this, as well as my other spirits. Um, so I want to go over the model of the four kinds of dignity. The first one is the dignity of merit. And the dignity of this is the dignity of moral stature, the dignity of, I'm sorry, no, I'm reading this wrong because I printed this out. I apologize. So the first type of dignity is the dignity of merit depends on social rank and formal positions in life. There are many species of this kind of dignity, and it is very unevenly distributed among human beings. Okay. The dignity of merit exists in degrees and it can come and go. Okay. Then you have the dignity of moral stature. Of moral stature is the result of the moral deeds of the subject. Likewise, it can be reduced or lost through his or her immoral deeds. This kind of dignity is tied to the idea of a dignified character and of dignity as a virtue. The dignity of moral stature is the dignity of degree, and it is also unevenly distributed among humans. Now, I believe that it all ties in together. Okay. And I'm going to break these four down for you guys. Then there is the dignity of identity. The dignity of identity is tied to the integrity of the subject's body and mind, and in many instances, although not always dependent on the subject's self image. This dignity can come and go as a result of the deeds of fellow human beings and also as a result of changes in the subject's body and mind. And then the fourth dignity is the universal dignity that pertains to all human beings to the same extent and cannot be lost as long as the person exists. There's actually an entire book behind it that I do plan to read. And I'm sure that a lot of you guys looking at that are thinking, wow, how is Santa Martha, how is Spirit tying this in to money and finance? Because when you look around, especially when we look at the dignity of merit and the dignity of identity, which one of these is affecting you? And this is what needs to be dealt with. Now, I believe that the reason why she led this to me is this thing that's sort of wavering, and it's being done not necessarily by you, but technically it stops with you, right? So let's say that you have a position that you want to take, right, in life. And there's other people that don't want you to have that position, or they, you know, they're ops, they're haters, right? So then your ops or your haters, can they actually defile your social ranking and your position? Can they defile your moral stature? Can they defile your identity? Can they actually defile your universal dignities? If the answer is yes, then that means that you are not stabilized, you are not grounded, and you have to be grounded. If other people are able to do that to you, then you need to look at self. Yes, as a witch, we do believe in justice, truth, and things of that nature. But if somebody wants to take those dignities away from you and treat you with disrespect and try to change the perception of your identity, try to change how people see you morally, try to change your social ranking, even though it may be false, how will you overcome that? And how long will it take you to overcome that? And then what is happening during that time? Why would somebody else need to take away your dignity? Why does somebody need to take away from you? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly the way my spirits told me, especially Santa Muerta. She said, because they want to take from you instead of them necessarily finding that within themselves, or either transmuting, or maybe at some point that person may have suffered a humiliating experience. Instead of them standing strong through that adversity, what they want to do is they want to take those energies and honors away from other people, which to them is not a very stable foundation, because what you do shouldn't depend on other people. Now, also keep in mind, we did experience another celestial event where Uranus and Pluto, the constellation, came together this year as well. So I believe that it's even more intensified the signals that I'm getting from the divine is individuality, independence, having to gain that momentum and that perspective, having the power to manifest without being codependent on others, without being codependent on people that specifically hold some kind of power over you. So, like for example, I just had a client contact me, oh my God, Jamila, I love you, and this and that. And so I'm not codependent. This is called word of mouth. This is my reputation, right? So that's different. I'm talking about being codependent on a person that is in a position or presumably a social ranking in your life that can potentially do harm to your dignities and take your dignities away from you based upon your need for them. This is what the divine is saying no. And then we bring up the subject of Belial. Belial means one without master. So this is you being a person that can stand independently no matter what another person says about you, no matter what that person's social ranking is to you. So For example, one of the things that we're facing a lot in this society, and more, some people have more dignity and integrity than others. And race doesn't necessarily depend on race, honestly, but I think that we see a lot of it, in the African American communities, especially when it comes to African American men, and the way that they degrade, demean, debase themselves and the women and the children of their community. But this happens in all communities at some point. I think that it happens more in our community, based upon the experiences, right? And then, but like I said, I think that it's more of a resistance when it comes to that, right? So I think that a lot of women who have dealt with a African American man can tell that they are more resistant to providing those dignities. And so this is one of the reasons why a lot of women, not just African American women, have had to be more independent. Okay. Because your position does not depend on this male blowing marshmallow fluff up your butt. Because if he decides, hey, I want to master you, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to use my tongue to debase you. And this is where Santa Martha completely cancels that out completely, because she's like, no, you think that you've been given the power in your tongue, and that power I will swiftly take away from you. Like, for example, when we read the Bible, Santa Martha, I don't believe is mentioned in the Bible, not by name, but she doesn't like it because basically it gives one power of the tongue against another. And this is one of the reasons why she is a spirit that is resistant to that, has completely been thrown out by the Catholic Church, because it's like it's not fair, it's not just. And one of her symbols is the scales of justice. So this is one of the reasons why there has to be a resistance to that. And then this is the reason why Belial has came into the picture, because according to that doctrinated belief, women as well as children are supposed to accept and live in a society, in a world, to where men are our masters. And this is not fair to anyone, because a man can be of low moral value, and is he supposed to be your master? And then even in the Bible it mentions slaves serve your masters, no matter how cruel they are to you, no matter how they treat you. So this is the reason why there was an abolition of slavery, and it's been that way for quite some time. I think that people that operate that way are very confused right now, and I mean in a sense of feeling that codependency, feeling like they need to do harm to other people. They're feeling a deep, deep cognitive dissonance, and it does not feel good to them. It doesn't. It Because they operate on the principle and the energies of that, and it is actually I think that Pluto retrograde is causing a deeper level of past life regression, whereas Mercury was kind of like a slap on the wrist to those people that have not learned and have not listened. Mercury retrograde was like a precursor. Pluto went into retrograde and said bam, 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 bam. So those people that were doing that are now experiencing to where they don't even know who they are. Codependent people don't know who they are. They don't really have an identity. So if you don't really have an identity, how are you going to have dignity when you don't even know who you are? So it's hard hitting. It is. Um, and I can feel it even as I started speaking about it. I could feel it because I can sense a few people that are watching that are feeling literally physically ill, physically sick. If you've come across a person like that, then you are probably feeling physically ill, physically sick, and you probably need to go to the bathroom. You probably want to go to take a bath and clear that off of yourself, get rid of those toxins and those impurities because it's a disgusting feeling. The feeling of knowing that you could have did better but you didn't. And then how do you say, hey, I was wrong? I can't compare one thing to another. Hey, you said something mean about me, and I decided to go out in the public and lie and say that I witnessed you eating dog shit. I shouldn't have made that comparison. I shouldn't have made that comparison between the two. Because what I did was I tried to take away your dignity while facilitating the drama in the first place, while causing the drama. I caused the drama. I did. I see that, but I thought that it was power in causing that drama. I thought I had power by doing that. I thought I had power in trying to take away your dignity as a human being. I thought that, right? And so I created a scenario where you actually lowered yourself. And then I took it further and said that I witnessed you eating dog poop. And I said it and I kept saying it. But then I didn't have enough dignity within myself to recant it and then remove the slander, the awful things that I've done. And then I couldn't admit it. I couldn't say, hey, I'm the one that facilitated all of these indignities. I can't admit to that. Right. So now I'm feeling ill. Now I'm feeling ill within myself. I'm not feeling right within my spirit. So let me just disassociate. Let me disassociate from the situation because I can't handle it. So that's when we go back to the four dignities: identity and moral stature, right? That's when we go back to the four dignities. And you have to look at it as though, like, does somebody else have to give you your dignity? You have to look at yourself as a woman. And so I've also been working with Belial. Belial came back into the picture big time because Belial means one without master. Are you, based upon your gender, your race, whatever it is, are you going to allow somebody to master you in that way to where they will say to you, hey, I'm going to go out there and try to hurt you and destroy your life and your dignities and take your dignities away from you, and I'm going to get away with it? Are you going to let somebody do that? How much strength do you really have? Can you honestly sit back and say to yourself, hey, I let this person ruin my life and stop me. So I'm talking to women right now. Is it more of a benefit for you to be the victim or to be the conqueror? So I feel like Pluto is speaking to both sides of the coin right now. And what energy do you walk in? Could you really, or could you really have stopped a very indignant person from trying to defile you and take your dignity away from you? So dignity is a power word today. For some reason, dignity came up as I was in my meditations. And I even dreamt about it and was woken up out of my sleep, taking my nap to the word dignity. In my spells and incantations, whether or not they're in English or Latin, I use power words like that: dignity, integrity, okay, um, financial stature, purity. Somebody trying to speak disgusting lies on you does what? It takes away from your purity, because purity is actually very valuable. So is transmuting something. And those are some of the energies of manifestation. And do you actually have to have just like, we're not talking about something that, even if you came from a somewhat decent family, we're talking about going out into this world and not just surviving, but flourishing. What if somebody walked up to you, or a group of people walked up to you and said, I'm going to completely take all your dignity from you? What would you do? Would you fold and fail, or would you stand up to that challenge? And how well would you be able to obliterate? What are the actual energies of obliteration and abolition of someone that would do that to you? Okay. So, we've been speaking about that today, and I was up quite early this morning, um, you know, um, doing ritual that I'm not going to mention publicly, only to my clients, my paying clients knows about what I do, because it's not something that needs to be spoke about in the public. Now, am I sacrificing cats and dogs and children and people? No, I'm not, but there's certain things that are being done right now to abolish this energy, this very foul behavior, to the point where if somebody does try to take that away from you, your dignity, your integrity, your respect, your opulence, your affluence, your esteem, if somebody tries to take that away from you, they're essentially taking it away from themselves and not you. Standing on that and not saying, hey, this person did this to me. No, they did it to themselves, and that's it. That's all you did, was did it to yourself. Being able to afford a nigga trinket, let me tell you something: integrity, dignity, self-respect is worth way more. Those things are priceless. And this is how either 3 or 6 or 9 or 12 women can manifest millions. Can manifest millions. Okay, I was speaking about how my spirits told me, they said, hey, raise the bar, Jamila. Don't ask us for 300 grand per year. Don't ask us for 250 grand per year. You need to be asking for 15, 20 million per year so that you can have enough for distribution, because you've got clients, and some of your clients, they're going to have an expectation of making 50,000. Some of your clients want to make 100. And so you got to have enough. So raise the bar on what you're asking Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, Mercury, so that it can be distributed. And so, there's some other things that I was looking up. I went to a banker's podcast and looked at the transcripts of it. I felt like what I was reading was a limited belief on what my spirits are telling me, but it was still interesting to learn that as far as with money manifestation. So, Divine Services Apothecary, we are doing big things, especially if you are a client that is seeking money, retribution, reciprocity. Okay. So we're not just protecting our energy. Santa Martha told me, she said, I'm not just protecting your energy. I'm protecting your dignity. I'm protecting your integrity. I'm protecting your purity. I'm protecting you on so many levels. You can, and we are going to write down the words. I'm protecting so many things that are very valuable to you, which is huge. And so, yeah, it's pretty much what we're doing. And so we're going to extend this out a few more days, because today is the 9th. Some of the rituals that we've been doing, if we have to repeat them, we will repeat them. People that are trying to isolate and denigrate and take, from other people instead of connecting to source, a lot of those people are going to be in trouble if they don't figure it out. I'm seeing Armageddon for those people coming up July, August. It's gonna be a trip for those people. You better stop trying to take away people's dignity. That's but it's only May 9th. It's intensifying every single day. That energy is intensifying every single day. It's not just Pluto in retrograde. Pluto is, it's like a gravitational pull. Pluto is also, the constellation has merged with Uranus, and so it's pretty much like a Armageddon. It's like revelations for people that are doing stuff like that, because the only place that we're going to this is that justice, that balance, as much as possible. Because if you guys have looked around at the world, uh it's almost looking at a bunch of zombies operating on such a I don't even want to say lower vibrational level, but on such a non-human level to where they don't even care about themselves anymore. And so, and then let's talk about sex for a second. Let's talk about males on this planet that are trying to use sexual acts, except for the scat and poop eating. No. Nah, you are what you eat. But sexual acts, trying to use sexual acts against women and even children, pedophilia, to denigrate, to reduce, to spoil, to destroy. All of them are going to be unhappy and sad. And so I it's going to be a lot like this. And I'm telling y'all, and you can tell, you can really tell what's going to happen on this earth just by studying astrology. You can predict earthquakes, not just by seeing them, but you can predict them far in advance. And I believe that's how Nostradamus did it. You can see those things far in advance. In fact, I'm looking at the next retrograde as well, and I'm ready to release readings for that too in advance. In fact, a lot of my readings for the next couple of years are going to be centered around the retrogrades, because retrograde means what? Degeneration, which, if you break that word down, represents degenerate. Why are so many people on planet Earth degenerates? And why are there people on this earth who are markedly different? There's people on this earth that are degenerating, and there's people on this earth that are resurrecting and regenerating. And even during the retrograde, why are some people flourishing, having good luck, not having stagnation, not having those issues, while some people is just messing them up to the point where, they don't have a clue how to protect themselves. They don't have a clue of what to do. They have no idea what to do. No understanding. Okay? So, and so this is where we're truly going to have to look not just at what's below, because what's below actually reflects what's above. Like I said, it was my spirits of the infernal that led me to the universe. They did. They led me to the universe. And, it's a very powerful energy shift that is happening right now that we all can benefit from. Is everybody going to benefit? No, they're not, because they have no understanding. Their crown chakra is closed. If you don't have an understanding of what's above, you're screwed. By July, August. Well, thank you, Birdie. Hello. This thing is probably canceling out. He's closer now. Do y'all hear that? There's nobody in the chat right now. Um, Interesting. Now, I'm going to tell y'all straight up and down why so many people are feeling some type of way, why you're experiencing the symptoms that you're having right now at this moment. I was actually up until early this morning. Okay, went to sleep, felt good, woke up, feel good. I'm going to tell you exactly what's happening. Energy harvesting. Energy harvesting. Codependency. People on hard drugs, which is taking everything. Okay. And they've been feeding. Whenever I am up real late, that means that they're feeding or they're trying to feed. Those people won't survive. Now, if you're reclaiming your power, that's different. Reclaiming energy and what belonged to you is different. But these people that are out here trying to energy harvest, they not gonna make it. But a lot of you guys, in particular, clients and things of that nature that are going through that to where you couldn't sleep, you felt some type of way, you wasn't feeling well, that is because of energy harvesting, which to me, the people that are still doing the energy harvesting, like people that actually try to make it a foundation of, I guess, their existence, they are kind of at the bottom of the totem pole because that is like something that we cracked the code on in 2022. Hey, Triple, how are you, sweetie? That is that's something that we already cracked the code on, and they're not necessarily going to get anything. You have to reach out. We do have a spirit powder that is going to shut that down. If you are a patron or a client of me, of mine, of Divine Services Apothecary, I am going to be, especially if you are in my Santa Martha circle, but in particular, if you have that fiery wall, I'm going to be boosting you guys' fiery walls. That stuff costs money. Okay. But I am going to be doing those boostings today. They tried to place me under attack, and these are not, a lot of people say it's the government. It's not. I know exactly what it is, and whenever I speak about it, it's beyond people's understanding and human perception. So I don't bother to speak about it. I know what's going on. A lot of people know what's going on. It's cannibalism. Cannibalism was actually mentioned in the Bible. This is one of the reasons why I don't contend with it. Human beings are going to get sick by doing that, even if it's spiritually. Like I said, it's a difference between reclaiming your power or energy that is native to you. There is a difference between that and just blatantly saying, oh, I want to take this person's energy and that person's energy and this person's energy and that person's energy. Okay. It's a big difference between that and the other. So, hey, sis. Oh, well, I love you too. How are you today? A lot of you guys, the reason why it's so easy to energy harvest off of you is because a lot of you guys were trained and programmed and raised to not know or recognize yourself. Um, and so that's why, and you have to be able to identify with self. That's why I'm bringing up dignity, which is identity. In order for you to be able to identify your energy, you have to know yourself. You have to know how you're supposed to feel. If you're used to feeling some type of way and you were raised and groomed that way, see, I wasn't raised and groomed that way. Shout out to my parents, especially my mother. She didn't raise me that way. She didn't even raise me to serve her. My mother didn't raise me like that. My mother raised me to have my own opinion and to be independent. She would purposely test me throughout the years to see how independent I was. Independent outside of her. She would purposely start stuff with me to see how strong I was. So she was my first teacher. My mother didn't teach me to be codependent on her. She taught me to know self. Okay? She taught me to know self. She never told me who I was. She let me figure it out who I was. Okay? And I will always be grateful for that. Some parents raised you to identify with them so much to where when they leave this earth, you lost completely. For, and it gets worse. Okay. Parents are supposed to raise you to be able to survive without them. Not for you to, perish without them. You know what I'm saying? Same thing as a mama bird teaching her what do they call them, baby chicks or birdettes, little baby birds to fly. Same thing. Okay, so Kitty, are you okay? Are you okay, little one? Oh, Lena's not feeling well, y'all, for some reason. She is not feeling well at all. She's been sick of the past couple of days. So I'm gonna get off of here and see if she'll take some food. You hungry? Anyway, so I'm getting stuff prepared. I gotta prepare the oil because I'm making some oil as well as a money powder tomorrow. So I'm gonna prepare the oil and then the other stuff for this money oil that Santa Muerta wants me to make. And you guys are gonna get a boost because the moment Pluto went into retrograde, everybody got stagnant, went backwards, reverted back. Some people even turned themselves back into a baby. I don't I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about healing the inner child. Some people, if you tell them, hey, you should heal your inner child, they're gonna look at you like you're cray cray. Let me see if this cat will eat something. Lena, Bina. I've been kind of worried about her. Lena. Oh, shit, she needs some food too. Where's her other food? Her soft food at? So that's pretty much what we'll be doing. And sis, if you were not here for the discussion that we were having earlier, that Santa Muerta was speaking to me about when it comes to dignity, you may want to go back and listen to that, and you'll get the talk that we were, that I was discussing if you missed it. Okay. Hopefully you didn't. You may want to go back and listen to that. You know, I guess when you have a powerful conversation, there's some, I'm not saying that you'd be bored with it, but there's a lot of people that are bored with having a conversation that is going to uh, lead them to some kind of greater experience in life. People, they like the fuckery, you know. Well, I don't, I really don't. I like peace and serenity. I don't like the fuckery and the drama. I don't like it. So that's why I sometimes come on here and have boring conversations. A lot of people like, I'm bored. Let's talk about, holes on the corner. And it's like, oh God, I don't want to talk about that, and I don't want to think about that. What are we doing here? You know? So go back and listen to that. And you'll find that the less you spend time, a part of the healing process is spending less time focused on the drama and the trauma, to be honest with you. When I do a healing ritual, you're no longer focused on that. You're focused on, hey, I didn't realize I like that. Oh, this is something that I really enjoy. Uh, Healing is not constantly staying focused on what hurt you. It's not. Your thought process should elevate itself, okay? If you're truly healing. That's just like when I do a ritual, and I got a video going up. Two of them, actually. I have two videos going up. So y'all can look forward to that. Otherwise, happy new moon. Uh and I'll be seeing y'all, okay? And yes, I am always accepting new clients. Okay. Look at this cat. Girl, I don't know. You ain't even been trying to run for the door. You've been sick, baby. My baby is sick. So I gotta go. My cat is not feeling well, y'all. She's not being her normal self. She's just been kind of sleeping under my bed. Maybe she's healing, you know? But y'all have a good day. Blessings to y'all. Okay. All right. Happy Thursday. And I'll see y'all later. Bye bye.